So there is the 1350 pilot, first pilot version of the Enterprise that I recently constructed for myself. Again, this is my overall favorite version of the Enterprise from any genre, anytime. I don't need all the lights and all that. I mean, it's fun to put those in. But as I mentioned, in the original pilot, the model, the miniature, did not have any lighting. Whether it could have, should have, was irrelevant to me. What mattered was the fact that on screen, and when we saw it, it didn't have any lighting whatsoever. So I'm going to point out some differences between this and the production version and what exactly you get in the new kit or the new release of the kit. So hopefully this will help some of you guys that are on the fence debating on whether or not to purchase the newer kit or not. So let's take a look. The first thing we're going to have to do, this is a to turn this into the first pilot, there's a number of windows that need to be filled. And on the first pilot, these rectangular windows on the saucer, upper saucer, all need to be filled in, sanded smooth, as well as this front opening here. So that's one of the things we have to consider. And based on my references and all that, if you look at the saucer, you have to do, it's a tedious job, but it's worth it if this is the version that you want. Now on the second pilot version, you can leave these because they were on the second pilot. I built the second pilot version as mentioned, and it was on display at the Star Trek Original Series set tour. I don't know if it's still there or not, but it was there, and it had the lights because in the second pilot they added the lights and whatnot. So that's what you're going to have to do with the upper saucer. Here's the secondary hull. If you look on the secondary hull, there's a number of windows that need to be filled in, sanded smooth. Also, this detail here, these lines, they're not there on the original pilot version. So you're gonna have to sand those down, chisel them off, sand them down smooth. This part here, this little attachment that goes in there, is in the kit, but again, it has rib detailing which needs to be removed and sanded smooth, and that'll give you that look there. The neck. Yes, the neck indeed is a bluish color on both the first pilot and second pilot version of the Enterprise. And then when it went into production, the leading edge of the neck remained the blue, but the rest of it was painted the same grayish green color as the rest of the hull. But you see, they do give you another neck in the kit, so it doesn't require as much. I think there was 2 portholes along the back there that I had to fill in to reflect the cage version of the ship. So this part you won't need if you're going to do the cage. This is for the production version only. One of the questions I was asked was, let's see if we can turn this around. Well, the rear and the nacelles, as you can see, are smooth. They are not, there's no detail there. The kit gives you, of course, this is for the second pilot. That's when those exhaust ports or whatever they are were added. And of course, I'll show you the production version. And this is what the kit supplies for the cage. This is incorrect. Why is it incorrect? This detail was seen only on the 3-foot filming model that was used in a couple scenes at the end of the cage. It was not on the 11-foot filming miniature, which is what the Polar Lights kit is based on. So you're gonna have to remove this detail, sand it smooth, and then if you do a good job, that might be it, but you might have to put some filler in there and sand it again. Of course, then we have the impulse deck. This is the impulse deck that we see on the, I'm sorry, it's going out of focus. The production version, you could see the detail, the ribbing and whatnot. However, on the cage version, that area is smooth and not detailed. You could also see this strip, this piece here, which actually just is there to hide the bolts and screws that connect the saucer to the neck on the actual filming miniature. That's the same color, the blue color, as the neck. The deflector dish. I recently weathered this to reflect what the filming miniature looked like in the cage in the opening sequence. It's kind of blotchy, and hopefully I captured that, as well as the subtle weathering you see on top of the saucer that we see when we pull in for the close-up in the cage. Normally, this is the production version dish, so we don't use that. If you're going to do the pilot or the second pilot, you need to use the larger dish, which I personally like better. Another feature is that this blue I'm not going to say dorsal because the dorsal's on the back. It's not in the front. We'll call it the neck here. The blue neck is actually high gloss. I don't know if we could, the light's not picking it up. I'm doing this on my kitchen table because my workbench is kind of tied up right now with other builds, and I just wanted to do this quick video to show you guys and give you an idea of what to expect with the cage version. But that remains gloss. The rest of the model has a satin finish over which the weathering was applied, which gives it the same effect as we see in the pilot. It's not flat coated. It's not all clear coated with a flat. It's a satin semi-gloss finish, and then the weathering was applied on top to give it that distinction of the weathering and whatnot. Also, for the upper saucer, I used a stencil or a masking from Mask Design. Thanks, Gary. For the ship name and registration, because I believe, now I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it was painted on the miniature for the cage, and then when they redid some details for the second pilot where no man is going before, they started using decals. I could be wrong in that, but I like the overall effect of using a painted on finish for this particular version of the ship, as you could see. I did want to clear up, this was made an error by one of the reviewers that I caught. I don't remember who it was, and it was an accidental. They do give you, so the instruction booklet is pretty good for you guys. The coloring that I used, I have to apologize ahead of time. This model is just for me, so I did not really take any notes on the colors that I used. Everything you see here was mixed. All the colors that I did on this build was mixed and airbrush. They were all Tamiya colors, and they were based off of reference material that I have accumulated over the years and through correspondence with Gary Kerr. That's how I got the colors that I chose And you could see even, this is the plastic, the greenish color of the production version, and the coloring of the pilot version. The engines were, there's a swirl pattern, airbrushed, trying to catch the effect of the filming miniature as it was seen in the cage in the opening sequence once again. But back to the instructions, there is a comprehensive instruction booklet that Polar Lights really did you guys a favor, did us all a favor, really. This was erroneously said to correspond to the colors of whatever build you were doing. That's incorrect. There were no grid lines at all on either the first pilot or the second pilot version of the ship. These grid lines, which were faintly drawn on the 11-foot filming miniature by Matt Jeffries at the behest of Gene Roddenberry to add more surface detail, was only applied for the production version. So there's templates here for you if you want to go that route. On my production version, I gently, and you could see in another video that I post, and I'm not going to post it now, but my production version, my personal build, I gently drew in those lines with the finest pencil. I forget which mechanical pencil I used, but you should not be able to see this grid line on a model of this scale. This is not an 11-foot filming miniature. It's 33 inches in length, so there's no way you would be able to see it anyway. But if you so desire, and some guys like the pattern, just a little information there. But again, the booklet's very comprehensive. You'll notice that the decals are somewhat different for the pilot versions because the 7 is clipped a little bit there, and so they give you the correct decals to use on the pilot version, and actually the second pilot version. Then when it went into production, we have the regular 7 that we're all used to. One of the things that was asked by someone on the boards, by the way, most of my work I post on Facebook. If you guys want to drop by and say hello, Mark Myers on Facebook, or the Third Models, that's where I post a lot of my work. I'll be posting more on YouTube, including how-to build-ups and everything, once I get comfortably settled in my current build-ups that I'm doing. But you could see that underneath the hull that the decals are not the same direction, and that's true to the pilot and the second pilot. Also, there is no shuttle bay detail at all. So at that time, the shuttle bay was not fully developed or whatever, but the separation lines and the shuttle bay detail is not there. So you have to fill in and sand smooth the shuttle bay to give it the correct appearance. So anyhow, that's the model. I hope you like it. It was a lot of fun. This is my personal favorite, like I said. And again, apologies. All the colors that you see were mixed and airbrushed. And for this particular build, because I'm kind of built this on the fly, as it were, I did not take notes, and I would love to share the formulas with you guys, and I apologize for that. I could say this, that there are no rattle cans that will give you this kind of the same color. I'm sorry. I tried. I know some of you guys don't airbrush and you like to rattle can it, which is fine, but believe me, I tried. It doesn't work. Every one of my Enterprise builds, every one of them are meticulously airbrushed. I would highly recommend you guys invest in an airbrush. It will open up a whole bunch of doors for you. Anyhow, other things around the rim of the saucer I should point out. The windows had to be filled in, sanded smooth, and these are decals to reflect what we saw in the actual opening of the cage again. anyhow, there she is. I'll be doing a couple of my homemade special effects videos featuring this model shortly, but I thought that this bare bones look and subtle suggestions and observations that I have made will help you guys if you do in fact choose to build this version, or if you decide to pick up the newer box. Beautiful artwork on the box, by the way. Some of it is, I like the fact that bear with me here, I'm sorry, we get a nice portrait of Jeff Hunter as Captain Pike, as well as a beautiful portrait of Bill Shatner as Captain Kirk. Just a great job, just a beautiful job on the box. And over there you could see two 1-350 refits I'm currently in the process of doing, which is tying up my workbenches. So that's why I decided to do this video here on my kitchen table. So there she is. Guys, have any questions, feel free to contact me here or either on my Facebook page. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.